Well, hey y'all. Welcome to my walkthrough of the Hillbilly Tarot. There are walkthroughs of this deck already on YouTube, but I just seem to feel like the people don't really understand the imagery and what they're looking at. And being an Appalachian native myself, I feel like I can maybe explain some of these cards. Not the tarot meanings, but what the actual symbols are of what you're seeing on the cards. So this is a walkthrough with some brief explanations of the hillbilly meanings. So the box is the Hillbilly Tarot. Let's see, 78 cards in full color, mountains, moonshine, and magic. A tool for introspection using symbols from Appalachian mountain culture, brought to you from the scruffy little city, Knoxville, Tennessee, which is about 20 miles as the crow flies from where we're sitting right now. There's the back of the box. That's another card we'll see here in just a minute. So the first card would be your fool. He's the hillbilly. This is just a typical guy. He's got overalls. He's patched them up. You know, you can't afford to buy something new just because you get a hole. He's got his corn cob pipe and his old hound dog, and he's set off on his adventure. The next card we see would be your magician. He is the moonshiner. And it's got all four of the suits, as the magician does. And in this, it's the knife, the shotgun, the hubcaps, and the jugs. And everybody knows that triple X on a jug does not mean poison. That is moonshine. And that dog there behind him, that's a coon dog. And those are very helpful around these parts for anybody that likes to go hunting. Okay, and the high priestess is the farmer's daughter. And that Bible is what's in her hands. It's open to Revelation 17. I don't know if you can see it, but that is where it talks about the scarlet whore of Babylon. So, and, you know, she's wearing that scarlet, so she's definitely sort of, farmer's daughter's known for being strong and will independent, but also sexually promiscuous. So, all right, number 3 card is Ma. Ma would be the Empress. She goes along with Pa, the Emperor. And they're just your masculine and feminine, you know, archetypes. Ma's there. She's got her corn. She's shucking. Pigs in the sty. A little green vine snake at her feet. Just normal things you'd see. Pa's got his moonshine jug. He's got his shotgun. And he's just plopped up on an old tree stump. Because, I mean, that's what you do. You don't need a chair. Nature made chairs. Next card is a snake handler. This is your Hierophant. In the verse there, Mark 16:18, I won't read it all, but it says, "They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them." So this is exactly what they're doing, the literal meaning of this. They've got snakes, poison, burning their hands, and they're fine. This practice of snake handling actually still happens in Tennessee, in the churches, in the mountains. It's not exactly legal, and it's not exactly supported, but they've got a Bible verse that supports them, so they will continue to do what they want to do. Interesting note, the snake handling practice started in 1909, which would be the same year your RWS deck was created. Next is the Lovers, the Shotgun Wedding. And I've seen people that don't know what this card is about. The man in the background here has a shotgun. This is the daddy of this young lady who has found herself pregnant by this young man. And he's basically been given a choice. You will marry my daughter and make an honest woman of him, or I will blow your brains out. So, wisely, this young man has chosen to go ahead and marry this woman. Choice, consequences, you know, same sort of thing you get with the Lover's card. This is the Blockader. He would be your Chariot. These guys were the early moonshine runners. That sort of led to the creation of NASCAR, which a lot of you know. But they would put out these police blockades, and these were the guys who would get out early in the morning, sun's just rising, the rooster's there, to try to get out and beat and get through those police blockades, get through with the moonshine. This is your Mountain Man. He is your Strength card. What he's wearing is a coonskin cap. That's real common around here. You think of like Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett. Fringe coat, you know, he's not got a lion, though. He's got a bear. And, I mean, he may be fighting it, but I don't know. It almost looks like he's wanting to give a little kiss. Oh, and that's a black bear. Those are very well known in Sevierville, up in the Appalachian Mountains. That's the bear of our area. So that's a big symbol of the Appalachian Mountains here in Tennessee. The Mountaineer is is your Hermit card. And he's holding up his lantern, the same as the hermit. Instead of a stick, he's got a shotgun. He's wearing his chaps and his long leather coat. You know, he's to keep warm. He's up in a cold spot up in the mountains. shining his light back. So there's not a lot to tell on that one. This is the mill, which you can tell is a wheel of fortune. That is a grist mill. And for those who don't know, again, that turns your grains into flour. So basically it helps you to make your bread. And it runs on water. The water starts the wheel of turning. It rolls down into the water, picks up more, back up, dumps it out, and it's an endless cycle, just like your wheel. Okay, City Slickers number 11 is your Justice card. As you see, he's got the balance of justice. This is something you don't really see these guys up in the mountains. You know, when you do, they're coming for good reason. Something serious is going on. Something with the law. Somebody's been wrong. Something needs to be righted. But this card is full of things that are what you don't see in Appalachian culture. The clocks, first of all. People run on the time of the animals and the sunset, not on what the clock says. Fancy contracts, piles of cash. I mean, there's an electrical switch on the wall. It's definitely signs of the city, signs of the other. This card I absolutely love. It's the Hanged Man, but it's baptism. Your Christian imagery in there, of course. You got your white dove for the Holy Spirit. And this is sort of a purification ritual. Baptism is what you do, you know, when you accept the Lord, Jesus Christ. In a church, you would be baptized. But a lot of these churches around here don't do it in a pool in the church. They actually take you out to the creek, to the river, to the lake, and baptize you right there in the fresh water. I have friends and family members who have been baptized in lakes and rivers. So that is another very accurate card. This is roadkill. If you can't tell, this is death. The opossums died, but the death brings new life. So endings, new beginnings. This is a turkey vulture coming down to eat the possum. And turkey vultures are everywhere around the mountains of East Tennessee. You look up in the sky and you will see them circling, circling, circling for hours over some sort of injured animal, waiting for it to die so they can swoop in and have a little lunch. And clearly he is not deterred by that scarecrow, not one bit. Firewater is your temperance card. And again, see, firewater is a slang word for moonshine. She's got her moonshine. She's got her cigarette. There's a cougar, also called a mountain lion. Those are in our parts naturally. This is why you put your pets up at night if you live in the mountains. And it, like temperance, it's sort of a warning. I mean, she's drinking, she's smoking, and that's great within reason. But if she lets that stuff get out of control, she may find herself in a situation. Here we have, this is another one of my favorite cards. It's the Devil card. It's called the Crossroads. And this is a depiction of a real place called the Devil's Crossroads in Mississippi. And there's a blues player named Robert Johnson. And the legend was that he sold his soul to the devil to play the blues. And essentially that's what we have going on happening here. Next card is the Silo, which is the tower. And it's interesting that you see here we've actually got the moonshiner and the farmer's daughter, those first two characters we meet after the fool, and there they are falling out of the tower. The horse is running. That's a corn silo. And if you don't know what a corn silo is, it's where you store your excess corn or your excess grain or whatever you have that you're not going to use right now for later for feeding cattle and that sort of thing. So it looks like this one has caught fire from the lightning strike. So and we've got chaos below. Number 17 is the garden. That's the star. There's another one of them little green snakes. They're not poisonous. Again, they're all around our area. She's got a watering can, which every woman in the South should own a watering can. Cattle in the background, log cabin. Just some common sights you would see. Uplifting, sort of positive. All right, this one is the outhouse, which is the moon. We all know an outhouse. That's an outdoor toilet. And the little cutouts on them, we always think of the moon, but there actually used to be moon and star. The moon was women, and the star was men, but they eventually gave up. We all just went to the same one and stuck the moon. And they did the symbols because really at that time a lot of people could not read. And down here in the water, we've got rainbow trout. There's a place here in East Tennessee called the Lost Sea, largest underground sea in the U.S., filled with rainbow trout. Great place to visit, but the rainbow trout is a really good fish for night fishing. So that's why we've got the night card. But this particular fish is here because that's when you fish at night. And, of course, we've got the possum because everybody knows that's what's going to come out at night. Poor old feller's having to sneak out there. The youngins, that's the sun. And I have been told these are supposed to be Ma and Pa as an earlier stage. Can't confirm that to be true, but it's what you would see again in Appalachia. You don't have fancy swings. You don't even have tire swings. You get an old board, drill some holes in it, run some rope through there, throw it up on, and hey, you're good to go. And they're just out in the sun enjoying themselves, barefoot, probably hand-me-down clothes. This one is the Revival. It's your judgment card. And Revival basically is like a renewed spiritual interest. It's at least once a year. The church calls everybody together. They'll bring in a big fancy preacher, and they do lots of doom and gloom and loud preaching to get everybody fired up and back in the spirit of the Lord to sort of revive this excitement of the church. And that's what we see going on here. Daddy's on his knees, the mom and the little boy hands in the air, the pastor's leading the way. He's sort of there to revive their spirits. Let me tell you, man, them tent revivals, if y'all have never heard of a tent revival, Google that stuff. You can hear them from miles away. They get to hooting and hollering and excited and people flopping on the floor. It's something to see, let me tell you. And the last of the major arcana is the county fair, which of course is the world. And that's because in the country, the county fair is kind of the world. I mean, it's the biggest event of the whole year. People spend the whole year growing their crops, tending their flowers, raising their animals just right to get the biggest, the fattest, the brightest, the best, the whatever, so they can go in, they can win blue ribbon, and that's their pride for the year. And people will travel from all over to come to these county fairs. It's sort of like the social to-do. Background here, it says funnel cakes. I don't know if that's particularly just a southern thing, and I couldn't even begin to explain to you what it is, but very unhealthy and very delicious and something you should have at some point in your life. But again, see, even here at the county fair, moonshine jug, you'll see that as a common theme. All right, so that's the majors. Now, the minors are just pips. I'm going to go quick because I'm not a fan of pips. And from what I've been told, these are set up in the same way as the Thoth pips. And I don't really have an experience with that deck, so I can't really comment on that, but we'll blow through them. And we'll get to the court cards. That's a really, really interesting part. Ace of hubcaps. Hubcaps is, of course, pentacles, if you can't tell. Ace. Each one will have a key word to see at the top to kind of give you an idea. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, he does his court cards different. He doesn't do knights and pages. He does Jack, Queen, King, and then a card he calls a spirit card. So the Jack here is the old bootlegger, and that is Junior Johnson. Very famous NASCAR driver, very famous NASCAR family, started in bootlegging, went into NASCAR. So that's a perfect card for him as an old bootlegger. I hope y'all know who this is, but I saw some people online that didn't. This is Daisy Duke, y'all, from Dukes of Hazzard. Made them Shorty Shorts famous. I mean, there's even rap songs, Daisy Dukes. That's her thing. She's the queen of hubcaps, which makes sense. Car show, speeding fast. The king of hubcaps, I mean, come on, man. It's the king of racing. And he started in Bristol, of course. He's known as the king. And Richard Petty always has his trademark sunglasses, you know, STP, his Pontiac car. So he's even got Bristol in the background. That was one of his spots that he was really known for doing a thing. So that's Richard Petty, the king. And then we get into the spirit card. This one is the spirit of tradition. And the creator, Dr. Reverend David R. Brown, he said that this was supposed to be sort of the view of the mountains, sort of what we see when we look around, what we draw our inspiration, where our traditions and our history comes from, is these mountains have actually shaped that. So that is his spirit of tradition card. On to the knives. Ace. 2. Whoop, going too fast. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the Jack on this one is Kaz Walker. Kaz Walker's one of them characters, man. He was a businessman. He had grocery stores. He was a politician. He was on radio and TV shows. He was a very, very famous, well-known coon hunter. There was a Kaz Walker's grocery store in my little hometown here in the mountains. But he was actually famous for at one point in Knoxville, when he was, I don't remember if it was when he was a councilman or when he was in the mayor, but he got in a fight in a council meeting and punched a council member right in the face, made the front page of the newspaper. This was a man that did not care. I'm seeing the theme with the Jacks. These guys tend to be the queen of basketball, and someone didn't know who this was, and I'm telling you, it hurt my heart. Y'all, this is Pat Head Summit. She may not be anymore, but at the time of her death was the winningest coach in all of college basketball. Not in women's, in all. No one won like this woman won. She was no nonsense, commit or quit and get out. But that showed on the court because her Lady Vols continually, over a period of decades, just absolutely demolished the competition. And this is a woman that everyone should know. Pat Head Summit, Lady Vols. King of country music, the one and only Hank Williams, senior, not junior. That yellow coat's something a lot of people think of, and behind him is the Grand Ole Opry, which is, one of his main places. That's where most of the country people come from here around in Appalachia. They got their start at the Grand Ole Opry. And then the spirit card on this is spirit of self-sufficiency, not needing anybody, finding a way to get it done. And there's some of the tools you need. You need a coat hanger because this can do absolutely just about anything. Most common thing you're going to think of is unlocking your car door. And then duct tape. I mean, my gosh, what can't you do to duct tape? Didn't they use that to get the spaceship around the moon, the Apollo? I feel like duct tape was involved in that. If he had a can of WD-40 on here, this would be about the perfect card. Because they say if it's supposed to move and it don't move, you put WD-40. If it's not supposed to move and it does, you use duct tape. So, on to the suit of jugs. Oh, I didn't even say it on that one, but the knives, that was essentially your swords. So, ace of jugs. 1, 2, 3. Cups here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, your jack here, Old Moonshiner, bless his hearty. He died semi-recently. And this is Popcorn Sutton. You can buy his liquor in a lot of moonshine in a lot of stores now. But back in the day, it was illegal. And the last time he got busted, he told them, I will never go back to jail. You will not get me. I will not go back. And, of course, when they busted him that last time, I think he was going in for, I can't even remember, a couple of years. But he took his own life before it was time for him to turn himself in. Because he wasn't going back. He said it, and he wasn't, and that was it. Man of his word. And that's the way mountain men are. They say it, you can count on them taking it right to their grave. Someone didn't know who this was, and this one hurt my heart again. Now, you are not an American if you don't know Dolly Parton, the queen of country music. Funny that she's the Jugs, because, well, Jugs. But Dolly Parton's from Sevierville. Behind her, this is Dollywood. It's a theme park. And she bought an old closed-out theme park many decades ago. Was going out of business, and literally bought it for the reason of to create jobs for the people of Sevierville. There is so much, even in 2021, y'all, there's so much need in Sevierville. So many people don't have electricity, don't have food, don't have coats in the winter. I mean, and she found a way to create jobs. She continually gives back to that community. Just an amazing woman. This should be our next president, ladies and gentlemen. Dolly Parton, queen of country music. And, of course, if you're from this part of the country, you know the king of kings, the man of it all. That's supposed to be Jesus himself. We're not going to argue about the depiction of Jesus, but around these parts, that's how people draw Jesus. So that's what we're going to go with. That's who he is, and you take that as your own. The spirit is the spirit of intoxication because, again, you say it's a common theme around here. Moonshine, drinking, and mason jars is what you do. If you ain't drinking moonshine, you're drinking sweet tea out of it, or your mama's canning up the beans from the garden. I mean, ball mason jars are just a big, big part of life in this country. Now we're on to the last suit, which is your shotguns, which is your wands. So there's your ace. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Johnny Knoxville, the old jackass. He is from Knoxville. That was not his real name. That's why he changed it to that. Real famous guy with the jackass shows, and now he's made a lot of documentaries. If you haven't seen The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, oh my Lord, what a beautiful train wreck. And that was a movie, I believe, produced by him, or maybe directed. So that's good old Johnny Knoxville, known for being crazy and hurting himself, which is also something people do in the South when we get bored, because really there's not much else to do. Try something dumb, see what happens. This is the queen of pinups, y'all. This is Betty Page. A lot of people don't know she's from Nashville. She's one of those controversial characters. Did a lot of very racy type photos back when, you know, respectable women weren't supposed to be doing those type of photos. But Betty was never one to really care much what anyone thought about her. She did things the way she wanted to do it. And that's very indicative of a Southern woman. And the bangs. Lord, women around here still wear bangs. Lord, I've got bangs, y'all. It's so she is a true Southern woman, known for them bangs and, well, a few other things. I'm sure a quick Google search would show you more Betty Page than you probably wanted to see, or maybe not. And, of course, we've got the king of rock and roll, another proud Tennessean. This, of course, is Elvis. That's Graceland behind him, which is in Memphis, Tennessee. One of our claims to fame, you know, Elvis is one that wartime come, he didn't run, he stepped up like a man. And that's what we do. We're the volunteer state. We volunteer. And this last card now is controversial. I'm warning y'all. So, this is called the Spirit of Rebellion. I don't really like that this is the particular image he chose, but I understand that rebellion is a spirit of the South. We do not want to be told what to wear, where to go to church, what to teach our children, what sort of medicine we should take. You're not going to tell us anything. We're going to do what we're going to do, and you can like it or you can go right back where you come from. But to me and to many others, this particular image represents slavery. The deck creator said that you could consider it slavery. If that's what you saw for him, that was more of a reversed meaning. But again, cards are about our own meanings. So we, you know, take from them what they are. So there's the back, like Granny's quilt. And basically that's it. That's your deck, the Hillbilly Tarot. I love this deck. I don't work with it as much as I should, but it's I definitely recommend it if you're from this area or even have any interest in this part of the country. People say, I've heard ladies online say it's an insulting deck. It's diminutive, you know. But it's not, y'all. They're not making fun of hillbillies. They're showing you what hillbillies are. This is me. I am this person. I grew up in this world. And they're not poking fun. They're just showing you what it is. So, thank you for watching my video. It's the first time I've made one of these. So if you enjoyed hearing my hillbilly self ramble on, let me know. I may be encouraged to come back and do more. But again, thank you for watching. And, you know, I don't know if I even said this, but Reverend Dr. David Brown is the creator of this deck. You can find it on Amazon or you can go straight to his website, but his website's going to send you right back to Amazon. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.